Hello, everybody. My name is Ed. I'm in my armchair, and the smoking lamp is lit. And guess what I'm smoking today? My newest favorite pipe. Is it a beauty? Two things with this. One, why I bought it, and the second is a special bonus. This pipe is a Stanwell, and I bought it because it is a Stanwell sailing. Don't know if you can see this. See what? Notice the sail ship boat carved into this. Is that beauteous? That's why I got it. It's called a sailing. Gotta get it, you know. Maybe the captain will like it. If not, it's mine. But the bonus. Excuse me. I gotta. Oh yeah. The bonus is, and I wasn't really paying attention to it because I got it because it's called Salesman, and it's a Stanwell egg, and I like these. But, oh, wait a minute. Before I go forward, remember this guy? This Stanwell Sailor. Thought you needed to know that. But this pipe is pretty much an exact opposite of, or not exact opposite, but of a Stanwell 35 Sexton Everson pipe. But look at the size of this. So much heavier, beefier, which I like. Remember, I'm not a clencher, so I like these beautiful, thick-walled pipes. So that was kind of a bonus for me. I didn't realize this. But yeah, a Stanwell sailing pipe. I love it. Doesn't add to my collection of Sexton Everson pipes. But, sailing. Sailing. Hey, armchair. So what's going on, Doc? You need to order some more Haunted Bookshop. I got plenty of Haunted Bookshop. No, I'm sorry. You're really out. We are doing our best to keep all of your tobaccos very fresh. So please, order some more Haunted Bookshop. What do you mean, keeping my tobacco fresh? Have you never heard of cellaring? Back in my day, you finished a pouch, you just went to the grocery store and bought another one. No such thing as cellaring. Oh, God. Who the hell's that guy? What do you mean? I don't see anybody. What I want to talk about today is Navy, the Vietnam tours that I did, but about kind of the routines of it, or the things of it. First of all, you'd go on tour for about a 6-month period. And usually about 8 months, you'd be at your home port, which was Hawaii for me. And then practicing and testing and doing everything. But 6 months on tour. But that wasn't, a lot of people, it wasn't 6 months out at sea. It was mainly about week to week and a half at a time. And then we'd go to either the Philippines, which was our home port away from home port, or some other Liberty port. The most I ever was out at sea was Christmas time. What they did at Christmas time is half of the fleet went to a special Liberty port for Christmas time, and then on the 28th, around there, they'd come in, and the ships that were out at sea would go on their Liberty port for New Year. So in our case, probably the longest time I was ever out at sea really was about 2.5 weeks. So I actually spent my 20th birthday, December 13th, out at sea, and Christmas out at sea. We got relieved and we went to Hong Kong. That was our Liberty port. Fantastic. Oh, I spent a lot of money on Hong Kong. That's a different story. But again, for the most part, really about a week, maybe a week and a half that we got to see before we go somewhere else for a Liberty port or something. What we did is we had 4 different duty assignments, if you will, while over in the Vietnam area. Another little reminder. This was, Vietnam time, but remember, that was the Cold War period. So not a lot of our training, but some of our training was, nuclear weapons. Remember, close doesn't count except for in horseshoes and nuclear weapons. Anyway, just a little funny thing. In our training, there was a time, and I do not remember the distances, but here's the concept. They would tell you what would happen to our ship if a nuclear weapon hit within, 5 miles of us, different size bombs. So they would tell us, okay, if a nuclear weapon went by such and such, this would be a light one, would be that the mast, the radar would be gone, and of course all the signalmen would be dead. Like, what? Then another scenario would be, maybe a bigger bomb, and that way the mast, the radar, half the pilot house, and of course all the signalmen are dead. What? Further away, maybe a bigger one, the mast, the radar, the whole pilot house and CIC operations be going away. All the signalmen will be killed. What? Every scenario they had, unfortunately, was and the signalmen will all be dead. It's like, oh, gall. Spare us. Okay, back to it. Sorry, I digressed. So the four things we mainly did was, one would be, and usually was with another destroyer, would be just patrolling South Vietnam coastline. We'd have a certain area we'd have another two groups, would be further down, that we would just patrol it, be offshore. Usually not too much going on there. Occasionally we would have fire. We'd shoot our guns off, especially a lot at night. Ground forces would call in that they're hearing a lot of movement on such and such a valley. We might fire in, little firing things. What a lot of times the Viet Cong did was they'd put bells or something like that on cows or whatever and let them run through the valley. And then the ground crew would hear that, call in a strike. And one time, and I don't know if this was serious or very funny, was the fact that we had the record for the most cows, on that section. Okay, so anyway, patrolling South Vietnam waters. The next was what is called North Search and Rescue, North SAR. That would be, again, with another ship. We'd be up in the northern part of the Gulf of Tonkin, out to sea. We could not see land anywhere. We were just patrolling. That was mainly because what the pilots that would make bombing runs were told, if you do get hit and everything, do everything you can to get out to sea, to be jet ditched, parachute out, whatever. And there'd be ships there to come and get you if you can get out, if you can get as far out to sea. So we did that a fair amount. 2 ships just kind of going back and forth. We were just there. We never had any incidents where we had to rescue anybody or anything like that. But again, that was one of the things we had to do. Next would be the carrier strike groups. Carrier always is surrounded by destroyers for protection, and also in case a ship or plane had to ditch, because if they can't make it, they would prefer them to ditch in the ocean than obviously on a carrier. So there would be 4 to 6 or more destroyers surrounding the carrier. So those 3 things we did a lot. And what you had to do also for combat pay to be issued combat pay and be listed as, in combat action for the month, either, I think it was 6 days you had to be, at North SAR or patrolling the South, or if you were with a carrier group, if they made a strike, it can only be a day, but you've automatically qualified for combat duty. And then the 4th one, which qualified you definitely for combat duty, is and we did this a lot on the second cruise that I did, was to make bombing runs or firing runs on North Vietnam. Usually it would be two of us, two ships. You'd go straight in, turn broadside so that you could have both guns firing. We would fire, mainly only for maybe 10 minutes, maybe even less, just firing into North Vietnam, then making a right turn and heading out. That could be scary because we've been hit once we kept going to the same place, and they just basically knew we were there and hit us right in the front of the ship, where nobody was. They hit us, put a hole basically in our medical cabinet, or medical locker. Again, nobody was at that. It's, right at the very front of the ship. And so we got hit. I can remember one time as we were going out, we fired our guns, turned, and now we're just hightailing out as fast as we could. And the other ship with us, it was straight out of a cartoon, is you could see splashes directly behind that ship. And as the ship went forward, the splashes went forward. So they were going just at the same pace that the Viet Cong were adjusting their sights. And it just was splash after splash at about the same spot or distance away. And of course, the signalman, we had some of that same type of thing, but this one was different. So anyway, that's kind of what we did. Again, mainly a week and a half out of time, and then we'd go to Japan. Another Liberty port was Taiwan. And of course, we went back to the Philippines often because that's where we would actually, it wasn't really a Liberty port, that's where we had to repair stuff, do stuff, whatever we could do maintenance-wise, while we were in the Philippines. So we'd be there for a little bit short of a time. And, kind of a working port for us. So anyway, I just thought I'd just tell you about this. In case you wanted to know. Suppose, in theory, every second tour of a ship, they would let you take a detour going home where you could go through Australia, New Zealand, and then go home. I told you about the incidents where we had a few people killed, but there was also that second cruise. We had a very junior commanding officer, and so we got a lot of the bad things, a lot of the runs to North Vietnam. So basically, the officers decided they just wanted to go home after this. A lot of what I talked with the chiefs and stuff, everybody wanted to go home rather than Australia. So that's the one regret I have from the Navy, is that I never did make it to Australia, New Zealand, which would have been a highlight. Yeah, unfortunately, when I first came onto my ship, it was only about a month after they had come back from a tour, and they had also went to Australia, New Zealand then. So the first crew wasn't available. Second crew, they declined it. Anyway, I hope that helped you out a little bit. A lot of people were saying, well, we got at sea for, a month at a time. Nah, it wasn't that bad. There was a lot of nice Liberty ports. Went to Hong Kong twice. Fantastic. So, anyway, that's what I was thinking to tell you about this. Well, I hope you like this. Remember, if you don't like this, you're not going to get to heaven. So may your smoking lamp always be lit. Take care out there.